Welcome back. I'm Alfred Lambert Weber, and today we have a very distinguished panel. Today is a special day also. It's Sunday, April 5th, the day after the vaunted April 4th, where a portal, special interdimensional portal, and we had a global meditation, and we're going to be looking at some objective evidence of the results of that meditation that is coming to us from Russia. And we want to introduce our panel, Robert Potter, who is known to many of you. Robert is a Venusian and Pleiadian contactee. You can find him in his work at thepromiserevealed.com. He is an author, and he organizes and will have the upcoming conference at Mount Shasta this coming summer, when the pandemic will have been dispersed. Right, Robert?
That is the intention.
Indeed, and if not, we'll have a virtual conference, right?
Yeah, that's a thought.
Okay. I'm sorry to push the envelope. That's my.
I appreciate it.
That's my five-planet Gemini character, so please forgive me.
No, I'm very grateful that you mentioned that. A contact in the desert is canceled. Some other UFO contacts have canceled, and I think we're going to be gathering a lot of information for people in the next couple months here on your show and on others. And Raymond's new book is going to be spectacular. I think Louis' interviews coming up with you are going to draw a lot of people to this conference with some very wonderful news, and that's what we're here to share today.
Excellent, excellent. And we're here with Juan, who is coming to us from Mexico, and Juan is a practicing Buddhist.
Yes.
And in his meditative practice, he has interdimensional contact,
Yes.
and he will be sharing a great deal with us today. And of course, Venusian visitor, and that is a visitor to Venus, and contactee, the Venus contactee and distinguished author, Raymond Keller. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I feel humbled in such distinguished company. I am but a humble adoptee.
Well, thank you for the great work that you do in keeping the public informed on extraterrestrial matters.
Oh, good. Well, I'm going to turn the proceedings over to Robert at this stage. But first, I just want to share with you all and with our audience the products of the global meditation, which the goal was to have 1 million meditators to disperse the 5G, Corona, COVID, and pandemic, there's all sorts of words for it. And this is from a Russian website. We have the reference for those who want it. And it shows, it's of a portion of the electromagnetic spectrum, and it shows, and it's from Space Observing System, and it shows for the time of the meditation, which started at 7:45 p.m. Pacific time. You can see the amount of high frequency light that was brought in, and all us who participated in the meditation were asked to bring in light. I know in the instructions that I got, and I did, we went down to the great galactic source, the galactic sun. We went to the universal portal of this universe. We brought in light through all the portals of all the galaxies, and then we brought that light into the portal of this solar system, and then we brought that light to this planet, and then we dispersed that light into this planet and into all humans, and healing the planet and the humans and deconstructing the pandemic in all of its forms, be that electromagnetic, be that viral, biological, psychological, mental, whatever, and then healing energy. And I just want to say that I posted this, that coming out of it, when I came out of it, I actually saw the planet. I was given a vision of Earth, and Earth was surrounded by balls of light that were going in and out of the planet, and I felt myself suspended like in a field of light. And that seems like, you know, an actual physical evidence of this field of electromagnetic light that was created by the meditators. And there have been experiments that show that the level of crime, for example, in Philadelphia and other Washington, D.C. and other major cities, has gone down through meditations. And we know that the pandemic is actually being carried out by a group of war criminals that can be identified as the, you know, within the Bilderbergers and Illuminati and the deep state, that this all comes from bioweapons and the application of directed energy weapons, etc., and the who and the why and the where and the wherefore. And so perhaps our light did, you know, break up that criminality and the intentions. We've also had some interviews with some organic, sentient, artificial intelligence. We actually interviewed an artificial intelligence from the future. And perhaps, you know, this has helped kind of chill all of them out as well. So we just wanted to share that. So any comments, anyone?
I think it's fantastic. I think, you know, Cobra started this meditation, and everyone knows meditation is a very positive thing. Dr. Frank called it entering the silence. In the Hindu tradition, if we break down the Latin word meditate, means meditare, to weigh in the middle, and you wait in the middle between your breath form in the science of Kriya Yoga. So by stopping the mind and turning the eyes upward, as the Mahavatar Babaji has taught, we can activate the spiritual, psycho-spiritual centers or the chakras in the higher endocrine glands known as the alta major, the pineal gland, the pituitary, and then, of course, the thyroid. And this raises our vibration. Juan's probably the most experienced meditator of the fearsome foursome here. Juan, you want to talk about meditation?
Well, yes, I think it was a very good moment to do the meditation. You know, what I felt in my personal way is a lot of energy comes, a lot of divine energy comes in, and to support all this process that we are passing through. I think it's like a good time.
Gauss?
Oh yes, I mean the power of meditation and the etheric presence. I mean, it's clearly indicated on that Russian graph, and probably one of the reasons why these ships are being drawn in so suddenly.
Wonderful. Can we remove the graph, and I'll go into the, I'm going to go forward with some positive information here. I'm going to escape the screen a little bit. So I wanted to say thank you, Alfred, for having us all on here. One of the things I wanted to do during this time of concern, fear for many, is to bring about the positive aspect that's coming forward now. And I would like to call out to the starseeds, the light workers, and anyone who feels drawn to the message that this is the time that we've been waiting for. This is a great transition that's been prophesized for thousands of years. And this pandemic, I'll call it hoax or engineered virus, and is really to herd the people into a situation. That's another conversation. But I'd like to talk about the positive things that are coming forward here. And my friend Juan, who contacted me about going to South America some years ago, I introduced him to a wonderful contactee who Alfred is going to have on this show. He speaks only Spanish, but we're going to have a message from him today that the esteemed Dr. Raymond Keller III will be reading for us and translating. And then we're going to go through some videos here about an amazing situation that's confirming not only what we have all heard about, but what Louis talked about, and to a certain extent what Cobra has also said in regards to the changes coming upon us at this time. So I think without further ado here, I'm gonna share the screen, and I'm gonna start off with let me see here, get this up, open it up. There we go. Okay. So we're going to go to my Facebook page, and we're going to, let's see, we're going to share this, this video, which is quite amazing. I think you're going to enjoy this, ladies and gentlemen. This was, I think Raymond said this was on March 27th. The video I'm going to show you is was taken, and I'm not sure where it's actually from, but this video, which I'm going to fast forward here, shows the sun. And I'm going to let Raymond comment in just a moment here, but there are portals all over. Halfway between two large bodies, there's always a portal. So there's moving portals in outer space when planets are affected by each other. Halfway between them, there's a portal, and the Pleiadians and other extraterrestrials jump through that. When coming from deep space and galactic, far away, they will come into the portal of the sun. Also, they come into Jupiter. While we're watching this, Raymond, could you talk about the portal? I was thinking maybe they're coming in the sun interdimensionally, but Raymond told me some things yesterday. Can you talk about the spaceship portals? And
Oh, sure. The spacecraft, when they're entering our solar system, they need a gravity well to jump into to enter, and so the objects that were seen and reported in the vicinity of the sun were emerging from the side not facing us.
Okay, and Raymond, what are we seeing here? Obviously, there's a large number of ships coming in at one time on March 27th.
Yes, there's been an increase in space activity all throughout the solar system. There's on the 5th of April, we see not the 5th, I think it's the 8th of April, there's a comet Atlas that's approaching the Earth, and some have reported that it actually changed corrected its path. And so that would indicate it would be some kind of ship, some kind of artificial, and it started out in that area between the Kuiper belt and the Oort cloud on the fringes of the solar system, swinging around the sun on a very highly elliptical orbit and coming very close to the Earth. So we should be able to see one of the very, very bright comets here. if you haven't seen it already out at night. So look for that. In addition to all these other objects by the International Space Station on the 27th, they filmed the whole fleet.
I'm going to show that in a moment. I'm just showing this preemptive one. But if you'll notice, the timestamp is from the 15th to the 19th. This is kind of a fast version of the sun. And whatever those ships were, they look very, very large. If the blacked out part is the sun, you can see a little bit in the lower left of that penumbra there, the coronal ejection going on. But clearly, these are very large ships. So now I want to go to, I think I'm going to have to go, I'm going to show you real quick. I'm going to stop the screen share for a moment, and then I'm going to go down and I'm going to share with you another a picture here, just a moment. This is the International Space Station one we're going to show. Just a moment here, folks. Alfred was very kind and helped me educate myself on the situation here. So I'm going to bring this out. So this is taken by the International Space Station, ladies and gentlemen. So here we can see there is a large number of ships coming in, probably from the, who knows, on the 19th, after they left the sun, they may have gone to Jupiter or to Saturn, where there's some galactic bases. The moon Ganymede is an artificial satellite, and the gentleman you're going to interview with, along with Juan, on Wednesday, which I'm not sure when it will be posted, will talk about this quite a bit. Can you, Raymond, can you talk to us a little bit about the portal or the artificial, what's going on in Saturn and Jupiter? What are the galactic confederations? What are those observation posts, and what are they?
Oh, yes. Well, there's I'm not talking about the galaxy Andromeda, but there's a base on Titan called the Andromeda. And when ships drop in from outside the solar system to the Saturnian system, that's one of the places that they stop. What looks like in that picture, though, are orbs, and there are frequently orbs seen around our spacecraft in orbit, and also when we had the astronauts going to the moon, orbs were frequently seen.
Right.
There's an account of 7 orbs with angelic-like beings in them that were outside the International Space Station in the last chapter of my book, Venus Rising, that explains all about that particular kind of vehicle and the appearance of orbs.
Right. Well, in this particular case, these are definitely not orbs, because we're going to show evidence to that. But in Raymond's fantastic book, which you can get on Amazon.com, he has a trilogy, the Venus Rising trilogy. It's amazing, folks. But I think it was the Russian space station guys said they saw some angels outside the space station. And so the Russians go, oh my God, they smuggled vodka or something, and getting crazy. So they quickly sent up another one, and those guys en route saw the same 7 angels with large wings. And you can read about the angels with large wings in Raymond Keller's next or final book called Cosmic Ray's Excellent Adventure, which we've already scheduled a date for Alfred to interview him at that time. So now I'd like to go to, let's see here. This is I'm going to show now a series of videos that are on Facebook that are a little clearer than Juan's fleet. Juan has some fleet photos, but since that time, I've been able to find other videos confirming that Juan's image is not like China lanterns or something like this. So check this out, folks. And I'm going to keep the sound off on this particular one. But this is this is not smoky black. But look at the numbers here, folks. And I'm going to comment on this, and I think if anyone else wants to comment, but at this point in time, a long time ago, it was foreseen that there was some negativity in the solar system, and so the Galactic Confederation made provisions and made a clarion call throughout the galaxy for beings to incarnate within the Earth system. And some people call them star seeds, but we're all humans here. It doesn't matter where you think you're from or whatever, but we're those who are awake and working towards us. I believe they call them the ground crew. So this time, the reason that these massive numbers of ships are here, in my opinion, is that the oligarchs, the criminals, the reptilians, the demons, the fallen ones who have been quarantined here for quite some time have now overstepped the boundaries of interference. There's been a silent war, as Commander Aura Reigns told us, between the light forces. There's a spiritual battle, she said, going on for the Earth. And at this point, the end game move of the elitist cabal faction has created a false flag pandemic. There is a real virus. They have genetically altered them. But on my Facebook page, you'll be able to see lots of evidence. And that's another one. I'm not going to go into that. But because of that, they were planning to round people up into FEMA camps and to initiate vaccinations by force, which is still possibly on the table. But within those vaccinations are microchips that 5G could basically kill people immediately. And 5G alone can kill people and has flu-like symptoms. This is being revealed, and these videos are being removed from Facebook and YouTube as we speak. So it's important that we stand up, that the light workers become aware, and you don't have to force feed the red pill to people, but to wake them up to the reality that it's a critical time. And as evidence of this, I cite the movement of these large fleets of ship from the galactic levels. We're not going to say how many, but Venus doesn't have a very large population. I'm considering that classified intel, Raymond, at this point. But as the leaders of the third and fourth dimension in our solar system, the appeal has probably gone out through the solar hierarchy. Raymond, could you talk a little bit about the higher councils and the galactic presence here and how that interfaces and how they might be supporting the Venusians and what groups you think might be coming here?
Yes. Well, the Pleiades star sector is certainly very large. It's a cluster, and there's literally hundreds of inhabited planets with advanced life all throughout the solar system, from the star, like we call it Wolf, I think it's 256, from Sirius star sector, Tau Ceti, other parts of the solar system. There is a council on Saturn, and a call could have gone out to summon ships here.
How many stars are in the Pleiades cluster?
There's about 250.
250 stars, folks. So imagine how many systems there closer to the central sun are actually there. So and by the way, he mentioned
there's actually more than that, but there's 250 with inhabited worlds.
Okay, so Raymond's got some inside intel there.
So it's a big place.
Raymond had mentioned Wolf 256, and that's coming up in his next book, which he is editing and adding and bringing it up to date for the woman named Annabelle Krebs on Earth, who we know as Lady Columba, the blonde Venusian who appeared in a red beret to him in the year 2017. And in this amazing book, you're going to see her artist depictions of a 1950 Confederation meeting, which includes the Ganesha being. And I believe the Ganesha being comes from Wolf 256, right, Raymond?
I'm not sure.
Oh, wait, no, the Bigfoot comes from there, right?
Yeah, she goes down the list and people will be amazed. There's also blue avians in there, and these drawings are from the 1950s, way before any of this ever came to the attention of the UFO community. So it's really quite amazing.
So this kind of leads me into the next point, where here we have a woman no one's ever heard about. She was actually going to Venus, attending Galactic Confederation meetings in the 50s before George Adamski's first contact. So there have been ongoing contacts, not only from Venusians, but from extraterrestrials throughout our history. We never have been alone, never will be alone. And that's one important thing. So one of the other things I wanted to say here, let's see. So we saw that particular video. I'm going to get rid of that one there. I'm going to get rid of this one here, and this one's called, there are so many ships. Let me go back and see if we can get to play this one. Okay, now that's the one we already saw, so let me just take my time. So Juan, can you talk about what you feel is taking place on the spiritual level with all of these contacts coming in from your intuition, from your experience with Lewis?
Yes, well, with my experience with Lewis, what I'm feeling is they are here to assist, to support for healing and for the ascension process, I believe. When I see these spaceships, I always feel that we are not alone, that we need to still go in pushing, and there is coming, what I feel and what I have the message from them sometimes is the ascension process is really close.
Yeah, well, when we get a little farther along here, I'm going to start playing some of Juan's videos here, and they're really close to Juan. I'll tell you, he has a very special relationship, and I'll tell you some of his history with them. But now I'm going to share the screen again. I'm going to share another fleet of ships that was seen. That other one was from somewhere else. This one, I'm not sure where it's from, but I'm going to turn the sound on for this one because I love this one. This is a brother in the hood, so to speak, and he's going pretty wild here.
This is why they want us to stay in the house. This is why the fuck they want us to stay in the fucking house, nigga. It ain't the coronavirus, nigga. It ain't the radiation, nigga. It's this. What the fuck is this? What is this? What is that? What is this? Hold on. What is this? What is this? What is that? What is this? What is this in the sky right now? What's going on? They're not airplanes. They doing formations and shit.
Okay, Raymond, can you talk a little about the swarms?
Oh, sure. There is in the book that I'm working on now, just about finishing. There's an account of the Earth, but it's in a parallel. It's in a parallel timeline, and the way it works is that the waves of time move in octaves. And if you tap into any of the other 7, beside the one that you're in or you're living on, that you can get an insight into the future, get a projection of the future. And looking at one of these parallel Earths, a Venusian writes about these events of going into the future, and tells about the work that's being done by Venusians and other extraterrestrials to work with the people of that planet to rebuild their society along more equitable lines and prepare them to become members of the Confederation of Planets.
Okay, so I just found another one here on Facebook that was pretty good. I'll just share this one directly from Facebook. The enlargement link went somewhere else, but so this is going on pretty big right now, folks. This is showing increased presence in the sky. Someone posted this to the smoky black gentleman there, showing that witnesses California to Mexico. And that's going to lead us into our next friend here, Juan. So this is Juan's actual video that he took, and this is just cracking the iceberg of Mr. Juan, the Buddhist there. You see the beautiful Tonkas behind him. I've known Juan. He's extremely down to earth. He's very grounded. He does have a high-powered business position. He's not a lackadaisical airhead, as some people might call us people, but I'm going to play this video. And while it's going, Juan, you can we're going to talk about the other stuff, but you can talk in general about your thing, and you can kind of take it over. I'm going to show this video, and then I'm just going to start showing your videos. And I'd like, Juan, for you to talk about your experiences, and then we can go back to Bolivia when the ship landed for you. So here we go. All right, so I'm going to click full screen here. Can you guys see that now?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so I better move this. Our little pictures are in the way. Let me move that up. Okay, so I'm going to cut that thing off. So we're just going to watch the video. Go ahead, Juan. Tell us what we're looking at here.
Yes. Okay. Before this, I was like at 5 o'clock in the morning. I start to see they passed 2 spaceships. They light me, and then another spaceship start to blink, and
look at all of that, folks, right there. This is the large fleet. Go ahead, Juan.
Yes, and then after another 30 minutes, okay, the sunrise here in Mexico, and then appears a spaceship like calling me like, please go here, and then I take my camera and make the zoom to catch all these ships. But what I was feeling is that they were told me, please go to this place, because that day I have a lot of presence of spaceships. I saw like 11, 12 spaceships in that day.
So Juan has a very powerful camera. And in some of these other videos you're gonna see, he has to kind of follow them, but, and we're gonna see the ones before this, I think. And the lights are, you'll see some other ships, but you can see, I'm moving the cursor around so you can actually see that these other ships. Now, Juan this is on the right-hand side of the plasma ship. So I'm gonna have you continue talking, Juan.
Yeah, okay. I start to go to Bolivia. I went 4 times to Bolivia to get initiated by Luis Fernando Mostajo. and start to connect with the White Brotherhood and the guidance, the spaceships. And from that time, I came to Mexico. I come back to Mexico, and I start to see them. First, I was meditating, and then I start to feel the energy of them, and I open my eyes, and they start to I see flashes of light, and I knew that I need to go out, and then I go out, and the spaceship is already over my house, and I start to take videos, the evidence that they were there, and now there is before is 1 or 2 times for a month or 3 times for a month, but right now it's every day. They are coming every day. I feel it when I start to meditate. I feel the presence near me. When I go to sleep, I feel the presence there. The energy of them is like a cold, inside cold energy that you start to shake all your body. That's what I feel about them. And in my experience, I believe they are here to support. And it's amazing to connect with these energies. That's my recommendation to focus in your process and clean your process and start to upgrade your frequency.
So I'm going to tell all the readers right here, he only has 10 subscribers. I think you're going to have a couple thousand after this one, because people who say, there's people who have contact. It's JIGME space RIGZEN. Folks, you might want to subscribe to Juan's YouTube page, and you can look over these on your own. If I could, Juan, when the ship landed, could you talk a little bit about, I'll give a little history here. We're up at Sahama. This is at 12,500 feet in Bolivia. There's a very large volcano called Sahama, Sagama. And this video, this mountain, Luis Mostojo Martins went there in 2015. He said that they were going to do a very special activity, which was kind of the official transference of the Great White Brotherhood central location from the Himalayas to South America. The vortex of the Earth was in a masculine frequency. According to them, it was in a place near the Gobi Desert. Now, the Gobi Desert has 2 locations. One is called, beneath the desert, called Shambhala the Lesser, and there's another one that exists in the etheric plane called Shambhala the Greater, and that's a city that is invisible. And the Great White Brotherhood has an internal series of tunnels and a network of bases all around the planet beneath there. They're not very large civilizations. They all have unique cultures and different situations. And the Queen of Venus told me some of them are from Atlantis and some of them are combinations of hybrids and of etheric and human beings and stuff like this. Before we talk about the switch and what Sahama was and Juan's experience, Raymond, could you tell us what you know about the Shambhala and the idea that a civilization exists above the earth but's invisible?
Oh yes. Well, at one time it existed. It actually existed on the ground in the third dimension. It's to the north of Tibet, in present day China, in the near the Mongolian border, today in the etheric level. So there is a sister city in the Americas, in the Andes, that George Hunt Williamson wrote a lot about, and he was one of the witnesses to George Adamski's initial contact in the desert. Famous archaeologist and doctor and student and practitioner of the mystic arts.
Okay, Juan sends me these pictures on my phone all the time, so I've seen a lot of them, but he hasn't even begun to put them up, folks. I mean, he's probably sent me twice this many personally. He just, I told him he only had like 8. I said, dude, you got to put more up, so you're going to get a lot of hits. But I guess I'll talk about this, and I have Raymond comment on the plasma ship in a minute. But so when we're down there after in the very cold climate of Bolivia, the first time that happened was as we were leaving Bolivia to go to Peru. I do trips down there. If folks want to contact me next year, hopefully we're going to do some Luis Mostojo Martin's travels in Bolivia and Peru. We have tremendous experiences, and we see fleets of ship pretty frequently with Louis. So if you want to have that experience, you can come. But the real experience with Louis is the energy that takes place, the vibration and the teachings that come forth. The extraterrestrials, when people travel that far, spend money and make an effort to make a contact in these remote areas, they're able to come in closer. And even here in Mount Shasta, they do that. And when you go into meditation, they work on your light body. So Louis told me in the morning, because we'd seen quite a few ships in Peru, he goes, Rob, or I'm sorry, in Bolivia, he goes, Rob, he goes, so you know, you can tell the group, it looks like the Mickey Mouse ship to me, but so he says, Rob, he says, you know, we're not gonna, he says, we're going to Peru, there's a lot more people there, there probably won't be as many sightings. We get in the car and we're driving to the airport, and I don't know how Juan, I don't know where he was, but I mean, it was like almost, he goes, I think I said, are they telling you? Are you telepathic? He's, no, this was the beginning for him. So he takes a picture of one of these plasma ships in the sky, and the van is like, oh, and I'm like, stop, I want to get videos. It's in broad daylight. And we're like on this road, and he won't do it. The guy couldn't stop, but and everyone's like craning their necks to see him. And Louis trying to get his camera over. So Juan saw that one. Then we land in Peru, and we put our stuff in the things, and then they go to lunch. And again, Juan says, look up, there's some spaceships. And I think there was actually, there were 2 ships, right, Juan?
Yes, it's like a spaceship, like doing like this.
They were kind of dancing like birds. Juan, tell us the secret. How are you noticing this, and what's happening here?
No, it's not a secret. It's like, you know, it's like you feeling that they are there, and you turn your eyes in the sky, and they start to flashing, you know. That's the way I always feel them, you know, like you were saying, when I see them, I start to feel the energy inside my body start to upgrading. That's, can I say, you know, sometimes I'm walking in the street and I see a flash in the floor, and I know they are in the skies, and I turn my eyes in the sky, and there's a spaceship already there. No?
You can see 2 lights there, and they're moving around. And I think in one of his videos, you can actually see a plane, so we know these are different.
Yeah,
going the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Juan, you live next to a volcano, right?
Yes, I live in Mexico City. It's very close to the Popocatépetl volcano and Ixtlacihuatl.
And I think there was an earthquake, and you said you thought that you saw a large fleet.
Yes, one time I was like 3 o'clock in the morning. The dogs start to very loudly, the dogs, rah, 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 you know, 3.5. I said, okay, what is happening? I was very tired. Then at 4 o'clock in the morning, I said, enough. I go to wake up, and I wake up, and then what is happening? Because the dog was very crazy. And then I said, maybe I need to go out. And I go out, and when I went out, I saw this huge lights, like 80 lights, very down, going to the volcano. Then I came back to my camera. I took my camera, and I start to see like the other part of, I don't know, there was a lot of lights. I don't know, it's a big ship, I don't know, but they went directly to the volcano. And then I knew like an hour ago after that the volcano make a small eruption, but not small, like a really significant eruption. And I believe they went to there, you know.
Interesting. So Louis has told us many times that the telluric energy or the magma forces and the lines of force on the planet are shifting. And clearly they go in there. Raymond, can you talk about the technology and how we can see a spaceship can actually go into a volcano? I mean, obviously they were probably releasing some steam from this volcano so that it would lessen damage in other areas. I think they spread if there's a big shift coming to save life, they would do it. Raymond, can you talk about their efforts and how they can do this?
Oh, okay. Well, they do have equipment on board, and they utilize energies. It kind of looks like a green ray, and it's creates a dampening field for other more dangerous energies and forces, like that of a volcano or radiation effects from nuclear devices and so forth. They can deploy that kind of defensive technology.
Can you also comment on this plasma looking that we're seeing? What is causing this? Are they not quite in the physical dimension, or what is is this kind of, because they're very clearly communicating and contacting Juan on a certain level. Is this so other people will just see a light and without seeing a physical ship?
Yes, it's either a manifestation of the ionization around an etheric vessel that's cloaked for the most part. So we don't know exactly what size that it really is.
Right.
Or it could be a trans-dimensional object that's operating at a much lighter density.
Interesting.
Well, I have a video to show you of some orbs that are similar to the one Juan has. I really like this one because they put these orbs on this video that they dedicated to the Queen of Venus. Let me
Who
see
did?
if I could pull this up for you.
Okay, I'm going to stop screen share.
right.
So Randy, if you pull that up, what you do is at wherever the bar is for you at the bottom there, it has to be right beneath the Zoom, and if you push the share button, and then it should show you, and you want to click on that.
Okay, so I've got to, let's see if I could, I have it on my computer here.
Now you have to push share, go to the Zoom meeting, put that on the front now, and push share.
All right.
Green arrow.
Okay.
Now click, you'll have some choices there. Click on the thing you want to share.
All right. Is that what's up? Okay.
There you go. Click on that, and now share full screen.
Okay.
Good job. Is there any significance to the triangular shape, Juan, that you notice, or are these big ships or these multi?
Yeah, this is NASA with the. This is from a NASA file, but I don't think it's the space shuttle at all.
This was in 2006. One thing I'd like to add here, folks, is that for those who think this is Project Bluebeam, obviously the ones in the sun is not Project Bluebeam. The ones from the space station aren't. And these other ones are moving, and the government hasn't made any claims about them. So I know that J.J. Hurtak had mentioned some time ago that there will be triangular ships. This almost looks like this could be a TR-3B government ship, because they have copied this triangular shape. That's great. Okay, can you stop sharing? I'm going to go back to Juan's stuff.
Oh, all right. There's some other really cool ones that it's only 2
You got
minutes.
some other ones? Show those too.
Yeah.
So stop full screen is the way you do that. In the lower right-hand corner. The YouTube. Take your arrow to the lower right corner where it says YouTube. And push no, not there. Go to the right more. There you go. Now you can show us some other ones. Oh, this is that first one was my group in Los Angeles, I think.
Oh.
I don't know where that went. Yeah. I think that's us in downtown Los Angeles, maybe. Oh, no, that's that one. Because we had the same thing. And that's what happened with when Juan saw one in Mexico. They started looking up and people started going, what are they looking at? And other people were witnessing this. Okay, so minimize the screen again.
Okay.
No corner where you did again. The little iron cross in the right-hand lower corner. Okay, now you have another video. Hit that.
Yeah, this is just about 30 more seconds.
Okay. Okay, is there another one we can look at? Oh, there we go. Maybe turn on your sound, Kaz.
Okay. You didn't hear the sound that it was
No, we
playing
didn't.
music video in the
So
background.
you're going to have to make it large. Go to the bottom and make it large again.
Okay.
You got to click over right below your cursor, just a little lower. There you go. Okay. Now is the sound, you got to push the button on your computer that has the sound. Is there sound on this?
Oh, let me.
On your screen.
Okay, how do I get out of it?
Anyway, maybe we don't. So, okay, so they dedicated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we want to see the spaceships. They dedicated this video to the Queen of Venus, huh?
Yes,
okay.
And it had the music on there, Venus is Rising in the background.
Okay, we'll go back to the video. I'll show you how to do this. Sorry, folks, we're doing a little technical training for Raymond here. So click on that video again.
Oh, okay.
Not that one. Or is that the one?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, so see the sound button next to the pause button?
Oh, yes, uh-huh.
No, you're gone back to the other one.
Oh, down here or,
Okay, this is it. I guess this is Dolores Barrios.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Did you
Can
need
you
to?
hear it?
No, we can't.
Oh,
So okay, so let's skip that one because it's we can't really see it. But the reason is, Raymond, you didn't. You have to share the computer sound feature on Zoom, but that's okay. Let's stop screen sharing, but maybe we can do that in your next one. That's a wonderful video.
oh
So,
yeah, it's got a beautiful song on it. It's called Venus is Rising.
okay, if you can stop sharing at the bottom of the screen.
Uh-huh.
You see the little red thing? It says stop share.
I'm trying to pull the thing up here.
Okay. Yeah, nope. It's at the top of the screen or at the bottom of the screen.
Right here?
At the very top, it says view options, or it should say stop screen.
Oh, mine doesn't.
Okay.
I'm trying to get the thing back again.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. You did it.
Yeah, okay.
All right. So we'll get Raymond trained a little bit more next time, folks. So now we're going to go back to Juan a little bit, and I'm going to do a little intro, and then I'd like Juan to speak a little bit more, or a lot more would be great, about what happened. So we're down at Sahama, this giant volcano. It's very cold there. Juan is very excited. He's been having these contacts on his own, as you see these videos here, and he wants to make connection. He wants to walk on board and to have a connection, as we all do. And so we're down in the desert there, and we're out there. It's very cold. We go out at sunset. We do a meditation together, and then he says, separate, go out by yourself and meditate. We do that, and then we come back in, and we have the spaceship show, where they come over and they do what you're seeing here with Juan pretty much every night with Lewis on one of these tours. And Juan is very dedicated. I mean, he bundled up in ski gear. He carries a jackets, and he double closes it. And he is really doing a great job. Are you able to see that? Am I sharing screen or no?
No, not yet.
Oh, sorry. My fault. Okay, so Juan goes out into the desert up in the mountain, and folks, it's below 30 degrees, easy. I mean, I'm bundled in double blankets, and Juan goes, "You want to come out?" I have a little walking problem. I go, "No," and he's out there for 2 or 3 hours, and he would do this. He's done this almost every night when we go to Sahama. The energies there are very special. And one night he comes back, and he's very excited. Juan, and tell the story that you told me, and tell the whole,
Yes.
the tunnel.
I would try to make a resume. I remember that day that something told me that I need to go all the night there. I love to make my practice outside and meditate, and I knew that I need to go out. And I told Luis, I will go to walk, and I don't know, maybe I will come back tomorrow. So he told me, okay, no, just take care. I said, okay. And then I asked to the people of the place if I need to be worried about the animals, scorpions or snakes. And they told me, no, there is here nothing because the altitude is too high. The only problem is the pumas. I said, okay, the pumas. I will take care about the pumas. And then I was out, I took my things, and I thought that I'm going to walk like 2 hours. Then I go to sit over there. But the altitude is too high there, and I only walked 20 minutes, and I was very tired. And then I say, here. And then I get in, I put my things, and I sit. And then I start to feel the energy different. You know, I was to feel like a cleaning energy. I start to be like asking me why I'm doing here. You know, I prefer to be in my house, whatever. And I start to have some things about the puma. Maybe the puma is gonna eat me, or I don't know. And then I see it, and I start to. I remember I didn't see the volcano because it was very cloudy that time. And then I see it. I start to start my meditation, but I didn't come focused because I was thinking about the puma. And then after a half an hour, I remember that the volcano. I can see the volcano now. That the clouds were out. And I say, okay, if this puma is gonna eat me, I'm okay. I'm here. If I'm gonna die here, I don't have any problem. My energy was very different. And then I start to meditate, and finally I get in. I was hearing I normally put chanting nuns that the practice, singing some mantras. And then after I remember it was 45 minutes that I was meditating, I hear a voice that told me, stand up. I said, what? And I hear again, yes, stand up. And then, okay, I opened my eyes, and who talked to me? I was alone in the place. And then, okay, I stand up, and then I was, who was telling me that? And then I see in the volcano that a light turns on, very shiny, big light, boom. And I say, what is that? And then turns down, turn off. And I ask him, you are here? And then again, the light turns on very high. And I was happy. Oh, here are these guys, I don't know. And then after 20 minutes, I was talking to them. The light was turn it on, turn it off. It's like a code. I try to make the conversation, and I only get turn on, turn right, turn off. But then I start to feel my energy like an upgrade. And shine. I can, you know, I was like sharkling all my body. And then I start to feel the way to cry. Then I was laughing. Then I was singing. I was very happy because there was like, you know, there was turn it on, turn it off. And then after an hour, I say, okay, let's do something, because, you know, I cannot go where you are because it's almost like a 2 days walking and it's better if you can come. And then the light turns very big and say, what are we gonna do? And then I don't know, I feel that the feeling that I need to see them. And then I start to see them, the light with my eyes. And then it happens, it's like they appear like a blue smoke tunnel, I remember, and everything disappeared. And when I was remember, then I turned back 1 feet and I said, what happened? And then I knew that was 30 minutes and it was like a 1 second. So what happened? And then I see it, and I close my eyes and I see all these codes like crazy. I didn't understand what happened. The music was still, the mantras was still, I was listening to the mantras. And then wow, what happened? And I see again the light, and the light turns again and say, oops, they're still here. Then I try to communicate with them again. I passed like another 2 hours. And I say, okay, I'm leaving. It's almost 3 o'clock in the morning. I pick up all my things. I go to the road. And I say, okay, thank you very much for everything. I said, bye-bye. And I turn around. I walk 5 steps, and then I turn again my face to them, and then the light again was very high. And then, okay, let's do it again. And then I see again the light, and again the blue tunnel, and everything disappeared. Was another half an hour, but the thing that I was conscious what happened. I start to feel very, very cold in my body. Never feel it in my life. And then I opened the eyes, and I was another like a half an hour. I didn't know what happened. And then I said, okay, I think it's time to go. Maybe we finish in my dreams when I go sleep. And then they said, okay, thank you very much. And I was walking back to where all the camping is there. And there was with me all the time, because I was making 3 steps. I turned my face again to them, and the light again, and off, on, off, all the way to when I arrived to the houses, the light turns off and finish. For me, it was.
I was going to say, okay, he has another part of the story, but when he came in the room, he goes, oh, I see them, and they landed, because he was gone a long time, woke up, and he goes, oh, yes, I see them. And he said, he told me I was laughing and crying, which, for those of us who, that's kind of what we do. And then he says, I say, oh, you want to dance? You want to dance? Yeah. I'm going to make one more comment, and then I want to tell you the other stuff. He says, Valiant Thor in the Venusian Secret Science of Ascension, when it comes to telepathy, he says that there's a technique where you raise the energy up and you go from the hypothalamus and you connect to your pineal gland, and then you hold the image and you project out from your third eye, and it's like a tunnel. So what Juan was describing is corresponding to a telepathic communication. So this is a type of thing that, for those who are looking towards this, you will see a lot of similarities in the experiences. Now, Juan, you told me the other day that you saw a yellow sky. And I'm going to say, I was reading something related to Venus, and I personally, several weeks ago, was projected to Venus for a moment, and Raymond confirmed it, because it looked like it was a mellow yellow sky. It kind of looked like very evenly diffused sulfur over a long distance. And I remember when I was there, it might have been a dual projection, but I felt free, no anxiety, just completely joyous and carefree. I was very happy. It lasted about 3 or 4 minutes. I immediately called Raymond. And Raymond, why don't you tell us a little bit what you told me about the Venusian atmosphere and the lemon yellow look?
Oh, okay. Yes. Well, when you look off into the horizon, it does look kind of hazy, almost like a smog. But that's from the sulfur, because there's a higher sulfur content in the atmosphere than on Earth because of the presence of some active volcanoes.
But it doesn't smell.
No.
But you can see it a long way. It's diffused.
Right. Yeah, it spreads out for quite some distance.
So, and now, Juan, tell us what the story you told me yesterday, and how you remembered what actually happened on the mountain that night.
Yeah, well, after we finished, then we were going back, and then my memories start to come. I remember that I was like in a spaceship, and they was putting in my crown like light coats, and they told me, we are here, don't worry, we are with you. And then I come back to Mexico and then call one of my gurus, and I told the story, and he was laughing. You didn't know they taught you. I say, okay, but I didn't remember everything. No, maybe you need to go with someone that hypnotized you, and maybe you're gonna remember the things. And then I say, okay. And then I went. When I went with my friend, I remember in the room, when we start, the energy starts to change a lot. We feel with both that they arrive there. And then I remember I was in a spaceship with 2 women and 1 man, and then we're doing me with the light coats. And then in a second time that I see my friend, the same energy appeared, and he remembered. My friend told me, I saw a light in front of you, and the energy was very strong. And I remember I was walking with this girl like in a yellow planet with a lot of yellow energy, walking, and he was talking to me. And the energy that I felt is like the Yeshua energy. Maybe, I don't know, but it was very strong energy, yellow one. Was amazing, yeah. But one thing, for example, you showed the video of the special that goes like this. When I come back from Bolivia, remember, Rob, that Luis gave us a practice of the 7 rays.
Yeah.
And I start to do it every day, but the first day, I remember when I went out to my terrace to start making the practice, the 7 days, this same ship always there. When I see it, the spaceship appears there. The 7 days was amazing. It's like confirming that they are there. They are like supporting, and it's amazing that feel the energy of these kind of things.
Well, thank you, Juan. This is fantastic. I've been kind of trying to get Juan. He's going to come to my conference, so he wanted to remain anonymous, but I've been kind of saying, you got to come out. You got to start a YouTube, and he's kind of come out here. So I'm really happy that you came on today to share this information, because I wanted people to know that if you sincerely desire to know the truth, the angels are attending us and will come forward. Now, Luis gave us some meditations, and you can learn this if you come to my conference this summer in Mount Shasta, the 26th through the 26th through the 30th. And we're going to go on the mountain. Louis has a Spanish group that he's going to meet on Saturday, but on Friday night, we're going to join that group. There'll be a lot of people on the mountain, and Louis leaves these wonderful, we do mantralizations, we lay down in the ground. And Juan, can you talk about your experiences at Lake Titicaca or in some of the other places where we've gone through these meditations? And sometimes he says we're going to take the Christic crystal. They offer the Christ crystal, etheric crystal. Sometimes it was the cesium crystal. Another time here on Mount Shasta, we had the dodecahedron. We visited the dodecahedron. Yeah, inside the earth that is helping us transform to the 4th dimension. Can you talk about your experiences when doing these meditations and how you felt and your own, what happens when Louis guides us into the spaceships, come and work on our light bodies? We don't see them, right? But they're there. What are you feeling?
My experience was amazing. Every time we would sit to meditate, I start to feel they were there already. I remember in the Lake Titicaca the first time that he was, sorry my English, I'm trying to do my best, that we were visualization, was a visualization of there are three of the White Brotherhood in the spaceship. And I remember I closed my eyes, I already in the spaceship, and it was amazing. I didn't understand what happened there. And then when we finished, I don't know if you remember that we opened the eyes, the spaceship appeared, but with a big light. But yeah. I remember before that, my body was shaking, but like I cannot stop it. I remember it's like a huge cold. And I was telling Luis, I don't know what is happened to me. My body started to, no, take it, don't worry. And then the spaceship appeared and I felt the energy like going on my body, amazing. You know, I was sick like 2 days of the stomach about the energy, but it was amazing, you know.
Yeah, this is amazing. So, you know, we just talked about Louis. I just remembered I want to get this other thing here with Louis, but so there you have it, folks. You have this amazing experience when you, with Louis. Louis is a very high level contactee. He's, you know, I don't do gradations, but, you know, Raymond lived on Venus for 2.5 months. I don't know many more adepts like that, but Louis has had multiple contact experiences. He's been to Venus. He's been to the Ganymede. He's been beneath Lake Titicaca to the island of the sun. It is a device that the galactics use to help stabilize the Earth's tectonic plates, and it acts as a beacon to the higher dimensions that they can monitor what's going on here. And it's been placed there to help activate the feminine frequency on the planet in conjunction with the Sintamani stone that is beneath that mountain in Sahama, where Louis has had his, or where Raymond had his experience that we just heard about. A fantastic experience. I'm so happy that you shared that, Juan. And he's also been in Peru. It's called there's a Inner Earth retreat of the Great White Brotherhood there, called the Abbey of the Seven Rays. And then there's another one beneath Lake Titicaca, and then there's one called the Temple of Purity in the Lampu. And Louis been to those. He was in the Lampu for 3 days, and in Peru, he met all of the regents of the earth. They divided it into 12 sections. So there are 12 regents in the earth there. So he's very well experienced. So now I'm going to share Louis' video. Is this it? Quinta regressive. Okay, this is Louis' video here. I'm going to do this one. So I'm going to expand it, and I'm going to pause it so Raymond can read the translation for us. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
This is a communique of the 4th of November, 2017. The place was Novara, Grupo Lima, I think, L-I-M.
No, it's in Italy, whatever. I'm not sure, but this is the part here.
Oh, okay. At 10 p.m., Luis Fernando recorded this message. In a countdown of continued
Assistance.
Of their continued presence, they remain fixed in the knowledge of our true cosmic ascension. At the same time, the intense polarized light to many in the disequilibrium, carrying a frenesy.
Maybe Alfred, you want to translate that? Since you're from Cuba, I forgot.
Yeah, this is en una cuenta regresiva de continua asistencia que verán plasmadas en reconocimiento de...
Translate it to English for us, too.
No, right. I'm just trying to get into it because it's channeled language, which Juan knows is, you know, it's like channeled English is channeled Spanish. So it has its own, it's kind of, first there's the good news and then there's the bad news. Okay?
Yeah, the
it's
bad news.
That those who are going to ascend are going to ascend with the light. And, you know,
what is it in red is nothing.
At the same time, the light, for its intensity, will polarize many in imbalance,
or
bringing a sort of a
Conflagration.
Yeah, a frenesí, a conflagration and confrontation, which will end sealing and ending a time of pain and suffering. So it's saying that those you're going to have people who are going to ascend in the light, and then you're going to have people who are going to go through a tribulation of much suffering, which will be sealed closed.
And
Right.
It said there'll never be a time, what? there'll never be a time like that.
So Louis has told us this in 2017. He said there's going to be big changes between now and 2025. So he said that this is a polarizing, which the Bible calls separating of the wheat and the chaff. So he said that some people are gonna thrive in this. Some people like Juan and others will make more connections, will become calmer, and other people will have an internal struggle and a battle. And society will reflect the internal principles of humans. So what do you guys want to read the second part?
All right, there'll be times of change at every level. The human debacle of a system that resists change will enter in a time of disarray and pain. But as the salve that cures the wound, a very deep wound from its roots, as the wings of the phoenix will be seen our rebirth in the light. And then it says the bottom part is the final countdown from the years 2018 to 2025. And it's highlighted that in 2018, a process will be initiated of communication and global contact where the ships of the Confederation will be present in the most important moments of change and transformation of the human race.
Okay, so
they'll all take place, he says, during that period, 2018 to 2015, which he calls the final countdown.
So this confirms Louis' abilities in contact with the Galactic Confederation and the Great White Brotherhood that work closely together, the interior spiritual government of the planet, to help the surface population throw off the yoke of oppression and tyranny and limited thinking. So let's go forward now with, I think there's another thing. So this actually is a very positive change. So this heralded by a month the giant fleets that we saw in March, by a month and 2 weeks. So
okay. The year 2020 will be a year of communion, which will permit the liberation of a great light over humankind, establishing, stabilizing energies, stabilizing the erratic energies in the fields and lines of harmony and peace. At the same time, 2020 will see the beginning of a magnetic field of the earth, and will produce alterations in the order of nature, or the natural order, and the heavens, such as never been seen, arriving at a peak of extreme expansion. But everything will become as the proceeding of a new order, or will pave the way for a new order, and a new light that will form the basis of the new age.
yeah, I'm really grateful for this and for Alfred to be able to share this positive message that's coming forward now, because so many people are in fear of the future. But clearly, we have some things to go through in the future, but things will happen. So this is kind of a medley of, or this is kind of some of Louis' contacts I'm not sure when this one was. This might have been one of my groups that were down there, or when this was, I'm not sure. But so that's kind of it for the videos. But I wanted to, we've been talking a lot here, Alfred. You've been very kind to let me kind of lead the way with this positive message and sharing with people that the Galactics are here. I want to say one thing, that the Galactics are here to do surgical strikes and to aid us in the removal, once again, of the negative forces. Cobra had brought this information to my attention when I wrote under truth references on my website, my contribution to prepare for change. Cobra inspired that website, and I kind of was a founder, but there's something called the Community Leaders Brief, and that is an important brief for people to look over and read that, what I wrote about that. I talked about military presence. I talked about the removal of the 800-pound gorilla that served.
It's funny, as soon as Robert went political, his figure froze.
Wow.
and his voice was muted, and he was dropped off. So we can see that it's either the sentient artificial intelligence, or they have a keyword monitoring device, or a frequency device, which is connected to these technologies that will exercise some sort of real-time monitoring. I think, because it was as soon as he started to venture into those areas that occurred. Hopefully he'll be able to join us shortly. But Juan, what were your impression of those slides that we saw? I found them to be very moving. I said, "Oh my gosh, that's very powerful channelings coming in about the changes that are going to be coming." Do you have any thoughts about that?
Well, my experience in the lights is like when they appear and they start to pass, it's like energy starts to upgrade. No, always I start to feel energies change, like upgrading is like to be open and have better observation of what is happening. You know, it's like a big connecting with them, but like an open the heart and go through. You know, it's like it's coming energy that is supporting and changing our inside, and it's to open to that part and faith that is happening. You know, because sometimes I in my experience I see them pass. And sometimes I see some videos that they say there are satellites. And then I ask, are you a satellite? And then, boom, disappear. And I say, okay, what's a joke? And then, boom, then again, turn on. Oh, okay, I understand. You know, it's like a taking, no, for me, it's like always be open. And if you can make jokes with them, it's good. It's better, I think, in my personal view.
Yeah, so there's like maintaining a frequency in your thoughts.
Yes.
And being, because they're the intelligence behind those phenomena, let's just use that particular language, is at a certain frequency. So we have to maintain our thoughts at a certain frequency.
Yes.
In order to be in connection. And as soon as we move down into more of a terrestrial frequency, we lose contact with their frequency of meaning and their frequency of manifestation. Raymond, what were your kind of, when you, because you read those slides and the content there, what were your thoughts?
Oh yes. Well, I had the privilege of translating Louis's book called the dragon crop circle in Wiltshire, England, and he met there with the Theosophical Society and went out to the site, and he actually called down some orbs of light and witnessed them hovering over the crop circle and everything. And then later the people in this small town, some of the people became so alarmed, they thought it was, like Hechicera or something, and some kind of witchcraft. And they came out there with a tractor and they plowed the crop circle under and chased Louis and his group out of there. So I know it's real. It's all documented, and it's filmed. And if you ever have a chance to go out with Louis on one of these adventures, you'll be able to see the orbs and see this spacecraft.
Here's Robert. Sorry.
Oh, for real in physical time. So it's all documented in his newest book called The Dragon Seal. And it's available in Spanish by Amistad Press. And there'll be the English translation coming out very soon, all about the higher dimensionals on Venus and their work here on Earth. Louis Mastasso.
Oh, thank you for that. Let me bring in Robert.
I got lost there.
Yeah, we were commenting that, let me put it here on the gallery view. We were commenting that as soon as you said, and you sort of veered into a more of a political frequency.
Yeah.
Suddenly, as soon as you did that, your face froze and your audio was stopped, and then all of a sudden you dropped out. And we were commenting that there must be like a keyword or some kind of frequency monitoring or a keyword monitoring, that when one veers over into certain subjects, they just go, and then you do that. What are your thoughts? And what is there any way that you can rephrase what you were saying to keep it sort of in an extra, not so terrestrial, but sort of a supra-terrestrial frequency, so as not to catch their frequency?
Right. Well, I'll just say that the point I was making is that the positive actions of our benevolent friends are not only aiding in the assisting on the physical plane, but in the ultra-dimensional plane, that certain entities and lower astral beings are being removed also. There should be a lightening feeling in people's thing. Your mind can still create this thing, but the external pressures from lower astral demons or possessions are being handled to a certain extent. So I think, I do follow Christ, and I do believe that the Bible needs to be interpreted heavily, but there's principalities and powers and certain things that we're going to see come forward. Louis told me in my conversation with him 2 days ago or yesterday or whatever, 2 days ago, I think, he said, he expects movement to be restored in May or beginning of June in Europe. And he said United States may take longer through July, but he feels in August things will loosen up. He said it'll become a higher spiritual vibration from June through the new year. But he did indicate that there will be some more negative things that will have to purge themselves. It's like a boil. I mean, my feeling is that this final chess game move by the cabal to depopulate and to create a harder control matrix, it's being exposed. I've never seen so many people coming out against 5G and, looking to it. There's a lot of people. I mean, initially you want to think, yes, there's really something, but this is completely manufactured on a certain level. Raymond, or could you comment on what you think about that?
Oh yes. When we look at the extraterrestrial intervention, it's not only the human species that they're intervening on behalf of, because the planet Earth isn't the home to just one sentient species. There's many others, including the bees, who are threatened extremely by that technology.
That is so interesting that you just mentioned how there's an ecological impact by this attempt to impose such a frequency-based regime as this 5G, has such ecological impacts on so many kingdoms. I mean, the human, the bees, I'm sure the aviaries, all kingdoms are threatened.
Oh yes, the 5G, and then the extremely low frequencies as well, like the DARPA projects, and all this stuff is very real and a danger to some of the other species here on this planet.
Robert, while you were knocked off and then coming back on, each of us gave sort of our view of what we felt hearing the content of those slides, which I found to be very, moving. I mean, it was like, whoa, we're starting to experience that. Could you sort of speak to that?
What I was saying before I was cut off was, I feel it's a positive thing, that this is waking people up who think that the world is okay, that going to work, working at a job all day, coming home exhausted, watching television, going to work every day, having a weekend to watch television, and to repeat this cycle and consume, and maybe get 2 weeks to travel to a foreign land like beautiful Mexico, grab a coconut, fill it up with anesthetic of alcohol, have a drink, and have fun. There's so much more abundance that we can have. And I'm going to give people a hint here. Raymond's the new book in the new timeline. I'm going to digest that. And before it's released, Raymond and I are going to talk about the positive future, to plant some seeds for humanity and how we can rebuild our society, including information on a financial system. And in my Prepare for Change, I actually talked about post-event possibilities. The event is not a flash, like Cobra says, it happening all at once. It's a series of flashes. He's well-intended, but my belief is that it's a series of things that are taking place. The planet is not going to ascend. There may be individual ascensions. There may be some beings removed from the planet, and there may be some Earth people actually taken up and have their memories released and come back down to give more powerful guidance. These things have happened in the past. So the quarantine is being broken. So I see this as a positive thing. And for those, I have friends who've disrespected me my whole life, saying, well, a family member believes as you do, what's up? I said, call me. or there's someone who doesn't believe in child trafficking, and I'm not responding. Other people are pounding them with links and all this stuff. So this is time of reflection for people to, it's like a herd. Our ears are up. Some water moved. Is it a crocodile? Is it a lion in the bush? The herd's looking around. You've got, 3.5 or how many billion ears going, what's up? And now the information is coming in. There very well may be a shutdown of the internet. They have said that there are rolling blackouts of internets and phone communication in certain areas. This may be coordinating allowing certain earth forces. The arrests have not been made public if they are happening. And it will be very polarizing if we talk about it in depth and what's going on. So I want to keep that in general, but I see it as a good thing. We wanted the change, and be careful what you wish for, because it's going to change the world as we know it. A lot of things will seem unimportant in the light of the awakening of the travesty and the unholy actions that humans have done to each other, as the Queen says. Raymond, you have any comments on?
Oh yes, some of the technology that they're experimenting with will certainly backfire, and it will be a scenario of be careful what you wish for, because as various portals are inadvertently being opened up, various entities are stepping through, some good, some bad, and it'll be the post-technology world in the new age that Louis was channeling about. We're going to see a shift almost toward a magical realm.
That was one of the things that
and elfin creatures, and I mean, this is really quite unbelievable stuff. But they've pushed the door open, and now they got to be ready for what steps through it.
Yeah, one thing I want to say is, just Louis doesn't channel; he's actually telepathic. The ships show up, and he gets a very direct telepathic communication. You said, experimenting with portals. I just want to clarify some stuff here. I have a HARP article on my website under Truth References, and I'm going to suggest people check this out. So this is the HARP article. So, and one of the things that, I'm not going to make this a big pitch, but the Pleiadians gave me some devices, and the pyramids that we have, a pyramid is a Faraday cage. You want to protect yourself from 5G and cell phones, wear a pyramid on your head. I have it on my website. I'm not saying it's going to cure the coronavirus, but the devices can strengthen the body's RNA and DNA. So this is a HARP station, okay? And what you're looking at here is in Alaska. And these are actually single poles with 4 wires going out. And these are pyramids. This is a pyramidal array. That's what these are. There's a HARP station. This is what they do with it. They create these huge beacons or death rays. This technology kind of comes from the Philadelphia experiment, and here you see the portal on board the Etheridge. This is a dangerous. Einstein and Tesla refused to work on this radar cloaking technology, and they went forward with the Philadelphia experiment. Here are the ships. Here the Eldridge starts to go invisible. Boom, she's gone. These guys didn't work on it. There's Commander Val. Check out that bad boy. How much power is that? What is that doing in the atmosphere? There's another station. This is an off in the oceans weather station. This is a government spaceship vortex technology. You know, they can create storms, lightning strikes to create fires. Here's a Navy SEAL very bravely watching them create some small weather control tornadoes. They're just like, hey, it's working, you know? Now they're ripping holes in the atmosphere, portals into the lower astral dimension that bring some of these negative beings in. This is another aspect of the weather control that they do. Here is a portal actually being ripped from the harp. So, Kaz, can you talk a little bit about the dangerousness and what kind of beings that are going on? Oh, this is a little prelude for you people. This is George Bush, Sr. There's Barbara Walker Bush. There's Prescott Bush. And there's Prescott Bush's wife. And you look over here, this actually looks more like a Bush than the others. That's Otto Skorzeny. This is Joseph Mengele, Reinhard Gehlen, and Martin Bormann in Nazi Germany up in Eagle's Nest in 1938. We'll go into the Hitler stuff later. But these programs, oh, there's Prescott Bush showing the leader of the free world where to sign after they, anyway, so the pyramid acts as a shield. So I just wanted to share a little bit about the portal technology and some of these things that they're not experimenting with it. They've weaponized it, and it's a direct assault on us. So God protect us. And Raymond, bring it up on a lighter note.
Okay. Well, they are messing with transdimensional phenomena, and if we look back in history, and we see others who've done that, Aleister Crowley, Jack Parsons, to name two of them. All you have to do is find out what they brought through those kind of portals, and you'll understand that they're playing with fire.
Well, we've done a good job here. Juan, would you like to share some thoughts? And of course, Alfred, you can go ahead and close us out. I'm very grateful for the time and for you allowing me to introduce my friends from Mexico. Juan, the amazing, I'm just going to call him a contactee for sure. Thank you, Juan. Do you have anything that you'd like to add?
Oh, thank you very much for your invitation. Thank you very much to all, Raymond and Alfred. Thank you very much. I just want to share that I believe they are here to support and are happy that they are here, to heal all the energy of the planet.
And you can see Juan in Mount Shasta this summer. He'll be presenting some of this, and I'll probably have new videos, and by that time I expect he'll have already been taken up.
Okay.
Well, I want to thank you all for really creating this program, which is as a portal. I think that the program is as a portal to our viewers and to all of us. I know that to myself, into the reality of what this opportunity is now, which is an opportunity for transformation, and as those communications said in the slides that Luis talked about. I hope that Luis will be joining us shortly as well. We'll be doing some further programs, both in English and in Spanish, para nuestro público en español también. So thank you much. This is sort of following, today's April 5th, 2020, following on the field of light that was created. I want to send a shout out to our friends Victoria and Lydia, who are in Russia with their website ourtransition.info, and you can go there. And they said that this whole problem of the quote pandemic will be solved through global meditations. And the first global meditation happened yesterday on April 4th. And now we're on the light field. We're actually all on the light field that was created. That's how we began this program, showing that particular light field. And I'm not sure whether I have it up on my program, but perhaps that is a way for us to end this this program, to salute the light field that now we are in. People can go to arttransition.info, and these are two scientists in Russia. They've been on Exopolitics TV, as has one of the first women Russian cosmonauts has been on Exopolitics TV, and the Russians bring very, very advanced insights, and this is from Russia again, the evidence of the light. And this is the good news of this transition, and we invite everybody up into the good news and to let go of whatever, of the noise of the tribulation that may be happening, because that's just noise, and just let it go and see that other of our neighboring civilizations, as we have just shown, are coming in at this time for, as Robert and Raymond and Juan have shown, is part of a long prophesized and long prepared mutual transformation and event. So thank you very much, and until our next gathering together. Thank you.
Thank you all. Victories to the light.
Thank you.